Okay, this is Dow of Cottonwood, and I am here today with Alda
Yeah.
Ramos, and we want to know what's on Alda's mind. What's important to Alda? Or
Okay.
is it Alda?
Alda. Yeah.
Alda.
Alda Glover. Yeah.
Okay. Glover.
Yes.
Okay.
um, what's important? What's on my mind now? I think, like most people, I'm concerned with how the human race is going to move forward from this point, the future that we're creating for ourselves. Um, I think most people are so very focused on trying to get through the month, trying to get through the day, trying to get through the week, and take care of their families and make sure that they trying to establish some security. They don't have a lot of time to look around and see where they are in the greater scheme of things. I know that a great many people do. They're looking at where they are in society, where they are in the country, where they are on the planet, and how they interact with all of the other beings living on the planet, all the other beings that are a part of the planet.
That's where I'm at right now in that stage. You
Yeah.
know, I stopped living hand to mouth, uh, living for the city, and my spirit is finally able to stretch out,
Mm.
and my heart's been able to open, and I'm able to understand and feel more and love more. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I think it takes a lot of trust to get to that point, but once you find it, there's just a lot of support. There's support from spirit. Things will come to you. There's help in meeting your needs. There's so much joy. You're not looking to spend money and find joy in things. I mean, you still need things. There's still, that's
Yes.
reality. But there's just so much joy in day-to-day life and opportunities that present themselves. And, you find yourself in community where you're supporting each other. You have things that other people need, and
Okay.
you can give freely of your time and energy, and it's a joyful thing. But it does take trust. It takes a leap
Yes.
of faith.
The leap of faith is where I jumped because I did not have the trust, and I still don't have.
Mm.
I have some of it, obviously, but I'm going.
Is it people that you don't trust, or you're not quite sure that you're going to be supported by spirit, or
My spirit fears nothing.
mm.
So that part of it, I'm solid. That allows me to move forward always
Mm.
because I have a fearless spirit. And with that, I take on everything. So, and as far as people, from what I know of, and I traveled a bit when I was younger, what I know of people is mostly negative.
Mm.
And a few people try to change that. And they try to be positive. They offer love, they offer kindness, they offer food, they shelter. Um, Women nurture,
Mm.
and men are learning how to nurture as well. Uh, but basically, I don't trust humans.
Mm.
I know their history. We're barbaric. The things we do to one another, and it's hard to get over that. It's um, Elder Daniel was talking about forgiving,
Mm.
and that's something that I'm working with. Okay, but there's a lot of water under that bridge.
Yes, forgiving the unforgivable.
There's a lot of water under that bridge, so
Mm.
I'm working on that.
There are there are a lot of really beautiful stories too, and things people do for each other, but we don't hear those as much. There's a magazine that I now have as my homepage, and it's called Yes Magazine, and it covers things that are going on in the world, but the stories are all about the solutions and what people are doing and what they have done for each other in neighborhoods, and like from at all levels, in small neighborhoods and small villages to on a global level, and what people are able to do for themselves. Companies that have closed down but been taken over by the employees and become employee owned and then thrived. So, and that's why I made it my homepage. So I'm not looking at the news like I see that. It's
Right.
like positive stories or an issues presented, but it tells me that there are people out there working on solutions.
Yes, and even what I'm doing right here is, in fact, that as well.
Yes.
I'm trying to show the world individuals, and we all have a big thing to contribute, because we all contribute. We are the world. We make this society. It's us. So when it goes wrong, it's us that, we need to correct it.
Yes.
Okay, or be proud of it, because it's not always negative.
No, it's not. And we have a lot of power in small ways as individuals. We can despair what large corporations are doing, but if we're supporting it, there's only so much complaining we can do about it.
Yes.
If we're not changing it, or if we continue to buy from those corporations, if we continue to support their projects, then we're becoming a part of that. So even as consumers, we're very powerful. If there's something that we don't like, or there are company policies that we don't like, if we don't buy from those companies, policies will change, or those companies will go under.
That is our true power.
Yes.
Finance.
Yes.
And we learned that with our boycotts back in the 50s and the 60s.
Yes, and those are still very powerful.
Yes.
I think that's as powerful as voting. I think they pay a great deal of attention to how we spend our money.
I think it has more power than voting, because we just saw the last two Republican presidents, Bush and Trump, they lost the general elections, both of them. So, what does that say to you? Your vote doesn't really mean much.
Well, it's a system that we have. We need to reform the Electoral College, or do away with it altogether, because the reason it was invented no longer exists. But it changes things.
They just proved it does. They just proved it's there for a reason, and they used it. It does. It has a place. It's just unfortunate for us. It wasn't worked for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pardon me here. A little chilly out here. No storm.
It's beautiful.
Oh, I love this setting. Yeah. I could live out here. And like I said, only come in at night when it's cold. We spent last summer, Olivia and I went up to the Grand Canyon, and we camped there.
Oh, nice.
And it was so awesome. We were 10 minutes from the rim itself. We walked over and, checked it out. It's just this existence that we have. It's awesome. I don't have words for it. I enjoy it. It's why I thrived. I am a part of it. It made me. I try to protect it. I'm just enjoying it, and it took a lot of time before I could get to this point, because of raising a family, having to live in a country that's finance-based, and having to play the game, having to live for the city.
Yeah.
And now, finally, with retirement, I have some freedoms. I'm meeting people like yourself, where we have some common beliefs and thoughts, and we share a common good, and I'm loving this. This is just, I never thought retirement was going to be so cool, because all you typically hear about is people with money, okay, and they retire and they travel, and some play golf. And golf is expensive. I don't know if you've done it.
No, I don't.
It's
I don't golf.
expensive. So, and that's left me wondering, what do regular folks do? You know, and I don't want to ever go back to work again, ever. You know, and I loved what I did. I was an engineer for 40 years. Loved it. Wouldn't trade my past for anybody's. But I don't want to do that anymore. That's gone. You know, I'm this Gary, which is completely different.
I love what I do and I find nourishment in it. So I don't necessarily want to retire. I'm glad that I no longer have to do it to keep a roof over my head. So and that makes a big difference.
Okay.
Like I'm not sweating the bills.
Okay.
That makes a big difference. But I would love, what I do is I'm a shiatsu massage therapist. And I find that very nourishing and I love doing it. It makes me happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to keep getting better at it and learning more about it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But my life has shifted dramatically since agreeing to marry Danny and coming here to Arizona. And I love that as well. It's beautiful.
What'd you do before?
In Los Angeles, I also did shiatsu massage at a private practice.
Okay.
And before that, I was a technical writer. I was a freelance technical writer.
Okay.
But that, it was a good career. I enjoyed doing it, but there came a point when I realized I wasn't happy. Like I had everything I needed, but I wasn't happy, and something needed to shift.
Okay.
And through that eventually, the path meandered a little bit, but I ended up doing shiatsu. It really touched my heart. So.
And I'm chuckling because I have a friend that went a similar route and wound up in a similar field doing therapy, and she was a technical writer for Honeywell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like you said, she had really lucrative salary, and it was a pretty good lifestyle she had put together for herself, but she wasn't really happy, I think. So,
yeah.
And she went the way of what you just suggested. So that happens.
And no regrets. I mean, it was a major financial change. I made a percentage as a massage therapist of what I made as a tech writer, but I was happy every day. Like I never woke up in the morning and went, oh, I have to go to work. Like it was always, not saying that I didn't like time off, but I just really enjoyed it. I was just happier in general. My life became much happier.
Yeah. Okay.
But because I was doing what was in my heart. It's a part of my purpose.
That's hard to define. How do you know what your purpose is? How did you define that?
The day I decided I wasn't happy, I had to sit down and think about it a lot. It's like, why was that? I had achieved a standard definition of success. And I didn't own a home, but I had a roof over my head and everything that I needed. But it was like I'd done everything to get to happily ever after, and happily ever after never showed up. Like, where is that? When does happily ever after kick in? And not that I've reached happily ever after. It's just I've stopped looking for it. It's like now I'm in my life and I'm happy now today,
Right,
and that's good. So,
right.
and so I thought about when I was a child, before I had all of these ideas about success and what I should be and what I shouldn't be. What did I want to do then? Like when I still had more innocence about the way the world worked. Like how did I see myself? What did I want to do then? And so I decided I was going to pursue that. I was going to go back to, my original desires, which was holistic health.
Okay.
And then I wanted to be an herbalist. I'd come to Los Angeles to become an herbalist. But in the pursuit of earning a living, I veered off, and it worked out, and I became a technical writer, and I had a fairly good career doing that for about 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
But along the way, as I said, I went to acupuncture school and then went to shiatsu school. And what I had learned in acupuncture school about qi, I felt in my body when I got to shiatsu school. So I thought, okay, this is what I'm doing. I want to do this for other people, like to become aware of the life force flowing through my body, like physically aware of that. It's like I want to
Okay.
do that for other people. I've always paid attention to my health, but I think there's an element there that something in that kind of wakes you up to understand that it's not just that there's something else there besides the blood and the tissues. There's an energy there, and just the feeling of being aware of that, it actually enhanced my spiritual life. It made me much more aware of my spiritual life and my spiritual being, and opened a lot of doors. I got introduced to the Red Road Native American spirituality
What
through
is the Red
meeting people
Road?
that Native American spirituality, yes. And I learned, about Taoism because it's a Japanese form of massage, and I worked for the Tao Healing Arts Center.
Okay.
And TCM, Chinese medicine, and the way that the system, very poetic system of describing the interactions of all things, and I'll just say of all things in the life force, and how we all react and respond to each other, how systems work and affect each other, and it can be applied to anything. And the similarities between that and Native American spirituality, Ifa, different systems that just recognize that human beings are a part of nature. We're not separate from it. We're not here
Right.
to dominate it.
Right.
That we're a part of it. We're inside of it.
And that is scary. You mentioned about the energy when you look within, and I've been looking since I was a child.
Mm.
I saw two presence. I've always been aware of multiple presence, and male and female, the
Mm-hmm.
feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And as I grew into a belief system, I came up with this crazy idea that this star here, our local one,
Mm-hmm.
gave me a spark of the feminine.
Mm.
And my masculine came from one of them other stars. And so every star that beams out its wave, and they all go in every direction, and it's all trillions and trillions of them. When they meet up with our star, we get different life forms. We get trees, we get ants, we get people. And I said, whoa, okay, this could be, or I'm tripping. One of the two. One of the two. But when I look in, I see that. And I see my co-conscious, the feminine, and I work with those two because one saves me when I get in trouble. Okay, one's as smart as the other. One's more dominant, and I use it more. I use my male. Uh, but but I agree with you about looking in and that energy in there. But I don't have the flow, and that's maybe because of all of the different surgeries and stuff I've had just to keep going. And it could be interrupted. But I do see it in other people. I like I see you just like you see you in the mirror. But if I close my eyes and I look at you, you're a different color with my eyes closed. I have a little compartment in my little brain that allows me to visualize stuff. And I can often spot a irregularity in your colors. If it's a knee or a hand or something, I can see a difference in the color. So I have picked up a few skills along the way, just from trying to understand me and trying to understand that I have all of this is me. I'm not the tree, but I'm the tree. Okay. I could eat the leaves from the tree and they heal me. And different plants,
Yeah.
like you did herbalism, uh, we are one, and I get that.
Yeah,
and
there
I'm
is no
comfortable
separation.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with explaining that to people because some people aren't ready to wake up. Some people aren't ready to hear that.
But when enough people are, that's when things change.
I could only hear it when I got older and I walked away from that part. As long as I was attached, I never would have.
Well, that's when things kind of changed for me. I had to walk away from the structure that I was embedded in.
Yeah, it's like we're on drugs, and you gotta get detoxed first before you can get clear, and maybe that is the key.
But that might be changing now. I think I was at a group last night, a women's group, and we were talking about that and how some people say that millennials, don't want to go through channels. They don't want it. They just want to do stuff now. And that it might be that it's time for that. Like when you really know it needs to be done, that you don't necessarily get permission from everybody. You don't necessarily go through 3 levels of management to find out if it's okay and how they want to get it done. Like if you know how to do it,
Do it, huh?
yeah, do it. And maybe it's time for those structures to shift. I mean, it's always good to have guidance and it's always good to have experience, but maybe it's time to walk away from some of those things. I know for me it was. And I was good at being part of a structure.
Yeah, I thought I was too.
Yeah, but some part of me was crying out and saying, like, I really don't want to do this anymore. It's like, just because you're good at it doesn't mean you got to stay with it. Find something else. And I was fortunate, and then I did. Again, it wasn't what I thought it would be. I'm not an herbalist, but pursuing that led me to something, to what I was supposed to do.
Your path, your dial.
Yeah.
Yes. And I wound up here doing this.
Well, a year ago, I never thought I would be in Arizona, but
here
I am and loving it. So.
I hear you. And I tried to retire at 62. And at 61, I called myself getting ready. So we did some modifications to the house so we could sell it and get, that was going to be part of the nest egg. I bought a boat. We was going to live on the ocean. I bought an ocean boat. Okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
And a month before my retirement, got in a car accident. got jacked up bad.
Wow.
Took me years to regroup from it.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to regroup from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of that went out of the window, and I'm here. But I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. So the boot thing was never going to work anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that you say, "Whoa, what happened?" And when I look around, I say, "Okay, it was supposed to happen."
That's something that I've learned now when things happen to try and say, okay, there's a lesson here somewhere. Like, let
Mm-hmm.
me learn it now before it gets louder and harsher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me try and figure it out
Because
while
we
it's
were
still just minor.
probably going to be drowned out there, you know, and kill ourselves.
But yeah, you don't always know. Like, sometimes something seems like a negative, but it's a blessing, and you just need the time to be able to step back and understand that it was a blessing.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have a thought or um, a mindset that you would like to tell us, give the world? Because we have a few people that watch this. A lot of
Oh.
them are in different countries, and they
Mm.
contact me, and you know, so we get around.
I don't. I think anything I have to say has been said so many times, of really just finding your place in the world. And I mean, um, as a human being, your place in the world, how you fit into uh, the nature around you, and really listening to the purpose that was embedded in your heart. When I want to say when you were born or when you conceived, but as a human being, we're all born with a purpose. We're not all encouraged to find that, and some of us have really difficult lives. I can't imagine the idea of trying to understand your purpose when you're just trying to survive. But I think that it's there, um, and you'll find support. Like once you start down that path, I think the support will be there. But that's not anything new. That's been said, so many times before. Is be yourself and follow your heart. But I think it's a cliche because it's true. I know for me, it's made a big difference in my life, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. We all have ideas on how to
True,
save the world.
true,
You know,
true.
so
And if you honestly believe that as you are going down your path, the support is there for you, and you don't see the support, then i.e. you're on the wrong path. Okay.
well, you're gonna find. I'm not saying there are going to be tough times, but you'll know.
Like
But
my
there are,
boat thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I thought that I was on my path years ago when I was trying to move to Seattle, and there was just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And I had a friend say, maybe you're not supposed to do this. Like
Right.
you think you're supposed to do this because it's what you should do, and you want.
Right.
It's like, but maybe you
But the
don't need to do
world's
that.
telling you no.
Yeah, and it was just obstacle after obstacle, and I was like, no, I have to prove my determination. I have to be tough. I have to get this done. And eventually it was like, it's not going to happen, at least not in the way you think it's going to happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, okay, I just need to stay in Los Angeles so I can, get things together. It's like, it's not going to happen. I'm not going this month. It might take me a long time. And immediately, as soon as I made that decision, immediately I, was back to work. I had a place to stay. Everything worked out. Like everything
Okay.
just, so it's like, okay, I apparently I'm supposed to stay in Los Angeles. And what happened in the following year is I met a friend of mine, Rochelle, and joined her organization, which became a major part of my life. Um, it, it was an organization called Morning Star, which became a major part of my life. And I've just done things that I would not have done otherwise, met people that I would not have met otherwise. The things that happened in my career, or understanding things that I could do, what I was capable of. that I thought I couldn't do unless I went to Seattle and did all of this. And it was like,
Right,
no,
right.
it all worked out. And I'm so that I wasn't supposed to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But
And that's
there
a
was also
hard,
difficult times, but that was
yeah,
just a matter that I needed to go inside too, because it was a morning of waking up saying, I'm sleeping on my friend's floor. How did my life come to this? Like, I used to have this
right.
career, and now I'm sleeping on my friend's floor. What, like, how did I get here?
Right.
But that was a moment of soul searching that I needed. And I think that was also a part of saying, okay, well, I guess I'm staying in Los Angeles for a while. And things shifted.
Yeah, sometimes life gives you lessons. It gives you lessons.
I think it's constant. It's just if you're paying attention to them. It's
Okay.
there are theories too that everything that happens, nature, spirit is always speaking to you. It's like if you can read it, it's like if you're paying attention and if you're reading it, if you understand it, if you know that language.
So I must be on my path because I'm enjoying it and it pushes me a little further. So go here, do that. And occasionally, like yourselves and Daniel, you push as well. And Daniel worked hard to set this up.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
So I didn't have to do anything. So that says to me, I'm in the path. And the path is taking care of me. And
yeah.
it's providing things to keep me going. So I'm cool with that. And I know I'm in the path. I knew it when we came up here.
Mm.
I excuse me. We used to come up to Sedona here for a couple of times a year just to chill out, have some fun.
Yeah.
And every time I was up here, I would have these dreams at night
Mm.
of voices and people asking me for help. And I'd tell them the same thing. I can't help you. There's nothing that I can do. And uh, things went crazy, power accidents, blah, blah, blah. We wound up, we bought a motor home. We're up here. Oh, okay. And, so what? I met uh, Arville.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
moved into our thing, and I had been meditating in the mornings. I come outside my little area, and some other people that were there, they were
Mm.
Buddhists, and they saw me meditating every morning. Then they came over and joined me, and we had a little
Oh,
group.
nice.
And I met another couple up there at the center. They joined us. And then Arville, when he moved in there, he saw us and he came and joined us. And then he acquired the center
This you.
and he invited me up there. And, so it's been a flow for me, not,
Mm.
um, it's just odd considering I was going the complete opposite way. I visualized us going around the different islands and
Yeah.
I'm going to live the dream, but
Yeah.
that wasn't my dream apparently.
Mm.
It was a dream, but it wasn't for me because this is falling in my lap.
And you don't know. You might end up at those islands anyway. Things happen. I let go of some of those ideas of like being able to travel to different places because my income had shifted when I chose a new career.
Mm-hmm.
But because of other things in Morningstar, I have done traveling. Like I've been invited to go places and do things,
Mm-hmm.
and not as a tourist, where I got to meet remarkable people,
Right.
and be in ceremony, which is just so much more than it would have been on my own. I think had I done it just,
Mm-hmm.
buying plane tickets and.
Right. And I did it the hard way. I worked my way around. And uh, generally, when I was at a different country, they would I guess I was a novelty.
Yeah,
Wasn't many black guys out there,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I got special treatment. They'd take me out on their yachts and
yeah.
take me fishing, and it's just awesome. But I worked my way around the world. I and it's different
Mm,
because people invite you to their home to show you that they weren't prejudiced.
yeah.
Okay, and that was the novelty of being black. And so I got a bunch that way. When I was in Germany, I had some friends. They'd invite me home to their home cooked meals. And
Yeah,
same when I was in France, same when I was in the UK. It's just let us do this. Let us show you we're people.
yes,
You
yeah,
know, let us show you we're just like you,
yeah, yeah,
and we accept you.
yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah.
And I thought it was beautiful.
But well, we were talking earlier about trusting people, but there are, like, with all the horrific things, there are good people out there that just want to be friends, that want to be share their humanity
Yeah,
with you, and let you know that it's they're different from things you might see in the media, or things that we all hear about, that
right. And I think also that novelty of me. They was looking at it, you're not the ones that we see on TV.
right, you're
You're
not what
not
we see
that
on
person,
television, yeah, you're not what we
correct,
see in the movies,
correct.
right, right,
you know,
that's, yeah,
and it worked.
yeah,
And like you said about trusting, my soul's so fearless, it didn't matter because I could go either way because I
yeah,
grew up in the streets.
mm,
So, I
yeah.
know how to go crazy too. Okay. So, just enjoy it. Life gives you something. Enjoy the meal.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where I'm at.
yeah.
You know, it's a buffet.
And there's just so much beauty and so much abundance.
I know that word is new to me.
Abundance.
Abundance
Mm,
is new to me because I've had to work for everything.
yeah.
You know, and I don't know.
Well, it's certainly not, we know it's not evenly distributed. And there are a lot of people
I know.
making do with,
I know.
or not making do,
Not
and
making do.
suffering, yeah, greatly.
Felt like you've talked out. Tell me, or you got more.
I, well, after saying that, and saying how there are people that we know are suffering, I think that regardless of our belief system, I think that we can all agree that everybody should eat, that everyone has a right to food. And that's something I would like to see focused on before we worry about borders, and before we worry about walls, and before we worry about um, the proper way to worship God, or whether or not there is a God. If we can focus on making sure that everybody eats. And I don't just mean giving food, but that everybody has food sovereignty. Because at a point in time, everywhere, that was something that people did. They fed themselves. And now, because we have industrialization and economic systems, that's not always happening. And we're having to, not that there were never hard times before, but we have the ability now to resolve that. And if we can focus on that, I think it will go a long way in resolving some of the issues that we create, with the things that why we worry about borders and why we worry about wars. I think it would go a long way in creating peace and acceptance of if no one were fighting to feed their children.
Some of us. Some of us are. We're,
Yeah,
some of us.
but if we don't have to do that, like if we
We don't
eliminate
have to
that
now.
reason,
We don't have to. Some of us
right?
now are spending their money on animals and won't do anything to help people. You know that there's shelters for cats and dogs and everything else.
But I can't say that they shouldn't do that, because there are, there are
There's
360 degrees,
needs.
right? Because there's a need, and
Right.
if that's their calling, then that's what they should be doing, But
I see
I
the
don't want to argue
commercials.
over
Right.
how to do it. It's
Right.
like, do it in the way that you think is best.
Right.
It's like, we don't need to argue over, this is the way we should do it. If we do it this way, that's going to cause problems. If we do it that way, it's like, I see a way that it works this way. You see a way that it works that way. Like, let's find, I'll work around this edge and you work around, like, the places where we work
Right.
together is where we'll
Right.
work together, and
Right.
you find the commonality with this person over here. And to me, that's just that's major. If, like, everybody eats,
Yes.
and then if they can find, like, a safe, comfortable place to sleep,
Yes.
and then we'll argue about the rest of it later. Like, once
Then
that's done, then
healthcare.
yes.
Yep. Then healthcare.
But you need those two things to be healthy. Like, you need decent food to be healthy.
Yes. And water.
Yeah, right, and clean water,
Yes.
which I won't go off into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to start that so
Right,
far.
because they're charging us for water. Okay.
Well,
And
I'm
it's
just
not
thinking in terms of
clean.
what we're doing
Right.
to our water supplies, and
Right. They're jacking us up here.
pipelines going under rivers and leaking into farmlands. So, but that's another few hours we can go on about water and what's going on with the water supplies and how things are working out. So, but those are the basics. I think we can, address those. Yeah, and borders won't be such an issue. Like, people won't. I don't think people feel the need to cross borders just to be someplace that they're not. It's like, if they have what they need at home, then border crossing
Right.
is not
There's
an
no
issue.
need to travel
Right.
then. Right.
So,
Travel out of necessity now for
right,
survival.
right. It's not like they want to
Right.
grab what they can carry on their backs and walk through 3 countries. They're just trying to find a way to survive.
Right. And I grew up watching those little kids in Africa, the flies crawling all on them, and you just want to say, get up and walk. Just something somewhere that's better than that. Go.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why they wouldn't do that.
Well,
We all have different motivations.
we have different motivations, and
understand.
it's changing. Like, it's changing. The planet's changing. So it's like some place that was where you could grow food has become sand,
Yes.
and
Yes. And it has to change. Everything changes. We are in a different spot in the universe than we were in the past. Because we move. Everything moves. So,
But we know that now. We know things are shifting, and
Right.
climate is changing. If it's because the Earth is moving, or because of things that we're doing, or
I
a
think it's
combination of
both.
the two. Right. So we need to understand that, and adjust accordingly, because it's going to happen.
Yes.
If we know, then
Yeah.
pull our heads out of the sand and make changes.
We are changing as well. I look at the past and I see us as humans were smaller. Once our nutrition changed, we started growing taller and bigger. We got more mass. These younger folks now are way bigger.
Some of that might be because of growth hormones in the foods that they're eating, more so than good nutrition.
Okay. We're poisoning ourselves.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Through trying to beef up our chickens. Yeah.
Well, shelf life, profit.
That's
you know.
crazy.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, from the heart and the soul and the spirit, this is the Tao of Cottonwood. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
No, you guys are. This is an awesome thing. Just having you guys.
Well, I hope something good comes of it for you.
The only things would be lost my little clicker that would have turned it off. Stuff like that. But the fact that we're talking is good. So that's a plus. We've made connections. Other people will see this, they'll understand, and they'll talk. They'll be debating and discussing what we're talking about. You'll create change. You wouldn't know why we're doing the things that you say needed to be done. Changing the world just a little bit. We're like a little ripple.